Good evening, folks. This is Deb Delaparent, and this is your Chain Reaction Report. You know, I had one all recorded yesterday. We're starting from scratch today. Yeah, no. You know what? As it always is with the GOP in charge, and they are in charge, not statistically, but they are in charge of the narrative right now. And you're allowing them to be in charge of the narrative, by the way. There's always something new that needs to be dealt with immediately. So we've got a few things here today. So let's start with the more lighthearted ones. So as always, we'll start with, I'm not going to say, I'll just read this to you. Quote, "I'm going to be the cleanest sheriff. I think I'm the most honest human being perhaps that God ever created, perhaps." End quote. That's Donald Trump. That's Donald Trump, who clearly lives in an alternate universe from the rest of us, because there are 30,573 documented lies that he told in just 4 years of public service. It started with the size of his inauguration crowd when he came in. He basically lied through the entire pandemic, putting millions of people's lives at risk. He lied about fake cures for COVID-19. He lied about colluding with the Russian government. He lied about the election being stolen on his way out. He is a Class A fucking liar. He's not the cleanest sheriff, and he's certainly not the most truthful person that God ever created. In fact, I'm not sure God created him. I'm not sure that even if there is a God, that God would have created him. Because I do believe, as long as we're going to talk about reproductive rights later on in this conversation, I do believe that he might be the reason for birth control. Might be. At least he would be for me. But let's move along. Let's move along, because that particular liar and grifter endorsed a quack today. Or not today, the other day. Pardon my misspeaking. The grifter and the liar endorsed Dr. Mehmet Oz for the Pennsylvania Senate. Dr. Oz, who himself has a truth issue. Because, you know, first let me read what Trump said about him. "I have known Dr. Oz for many years, as have many others, even if only through his very successful television show," which means you really don't know Dr. Oz, okay? It's a fucking TV show. "He has lived with us through the screen and has always been popular, respected, and smart." Really? Trump also praised Oz's popularity with women. "Women are drawn to Dr. Oz for his advice and counsel," said the man who has more than 26 credible accusers talking about him. When in fact, in 2014, the British Medical Journal released the information that Dr. Oz gives out bogus medical information on his television show more than half the time. A man who has insisted he doesn't put his name on anything except every possible fucking diet pill you can imagine, starting with Garcinia Cambogia and going right down the list. Then it was some kind of raspberry shit. You know what? None of those things work. None of them, okay? This is a man who gave up his career as a successful thoracic surgeon because he could make more money peddling snake oil. And that's exactly what he's done. Dr. Oz is also the man who gave Donald Trump an audience to convince the American people that he was healthy enough to be president. A man who not only gave Donald Trump an audience, but Dr. Howard Bornstein, a gastroenterologist who later admitted that Trump dictated the entire letter to him that cleared his medical condition for the presidency. A man who actually said later on that one of Trump's attorneys and another thug broke into his office and took his medical records away from him. So there we have 3 Class A fucking lying sacks of shit all together in one platform. And then we have Herschel Walker. He's running for the Senate in Georgia. You know, Georgia, the state that brought you Marjorie Taylor Greene. Even though Herschel Walker can't stay on topic, he didn't show up for the first debate, even though he could have. He made up some kind of lame excuse that he hadn't accepted an award. I'm pretty sure it's because Herschel Walker can't debate. He can't stay on topic. And that is a concern for the hardline old guard GOP. Can he win? I want to put everybody's mind at ease. Everybody knows that Herschel Walker held a gun to his ex-wife's head and threatened to, quote, blow your fucking brains out. Everybody also knows that several years later he did the same thing to a girl he was dating. Everyone knows that Herschel Walker admitted to abusing his wife, but it's okay because it's like putting a cast on. He said something to the effect, it's like putting a Band-Aid on. I'm all better now. And by the way, Herschel Walker is admitting to struggling with multiple personalities and violent ideology. Now, I have no problem with mental illness. But, you know, just like everything else, there are some things that you have that aren't under control that make it not feasible for you to be a public servant. The shit just doesn't go away. That's not true. That's a lie also. The Republicans seem to have a problem with that. By the way, Herschel Walker has lied about his business. He's lied about his business associates. He's lied about how much money he brings in. He's lied about an awful lot of things, like Madison Cawthorn, who lies about just about everything in his life. But I wouldn't worry about the electability of Herschel Walker because the hapless idiots down south have him in the lead. And they don't care that he's a violent, lying sack of shit. Because he used to play football. Honestly, I need a fucking break. Then we have Marsha Blackburn. Marsha Blackburn now, who states that Tennessee wants a wall. They want a wall to keep out illegal immigrants. Well, I don't know. Maybe she should talk to, the people down there in the states that border her state. Are they illegals? She does not border any states where illegals come in. It's amazing. These people are in fucking office. These people are in office. She doesn't even know that other states border Tennessee. Other southern states border Tennessee. Not another country where illegals are coming through. And finally, and I address the ladies on this one. Does this look familiar to you, ladies? Does this look familiar to you? You want to go back to these days? That's not a pretty sight. And I'm sorry they have to do this, but Oklahoma today passed a bill making abortions completely illegal. We have Texas already at 6 weeks. The Mississippi bill at 15 weeks. Some bills in some states are 12 weeks. Some bills in some states make it a crime. They have already arrested a woman in Texas for self-aborting. She has been released and the charges will be dropped because the DA made that decision. But the fact of the matter is the law stands. We have states that have other people watching their citizens, their neighbors, because they're allowed to sue those people for $10,000 if they catch them having an abortion, like in Texas after 6 weeks. And Roe v. Wade is about to be overturned. Now, let me tell you something. You can do the fucking math. Amy Coney Barrett, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh. Those are all lifetime appointments. Even with the addition of Ketanji Brown Jackson, it will be decades before any of this changes long enough to have this right again once it's gone. Some states are actually much more awake than others. Colorado has guaranteed that women can have abortions in that state. They have codified that by putting it in a bill filed in that state. That's only because the governor is a Democrat. Kay Ivey, that bastion of humanity, has just made it a crime in her state for gender-affirming medication to be given to minors, even with parental consent. This is 2022, people. And we look like we're back in the fucking dark ages. And that's exactly where the right wing wants us to be. I don't know what it's going to take to wake you people up. But if you wake up when this is all over and you start whining on Facebook, then I'm going to tell you all to shut the fuck up. Because it's too late then, and I'm not entertaining any of your fucking misery. You all have a good night. I'll talk to you later.